The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on Sunday.
This is about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Guns up and giddy up, everyone. I'm having a hard time opening my beef stick here.
What does that mean?
My little grass-fed beef. It's a beef. It's a mini beef stick, and I can't get it open.
It's because you spent so long trying to open up a Twitter account.
I was trying to get failure to stop on Twitter. First of all, some asshole already has failure to stop. It's not available.
Oh, really?
Like when I try to do it, and then a whole bunch of
Do you
people
think the network?
failure.
You think the network bought that or got that?
No, I don't think they're advanced enough thinking on that one. I don't know. There's a lot of users with like failure to stop _1 _2, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. And it wouldn't let me change the handle. And I don't know if it's because I signed in with our Google account or what's going on. Either way, that's Twitter. Let freedom ring, baby. People are going from woke to awake. It's brilliant. The left is losing their minds. It's fascinating. It's entertaining. And not a lot of people know this, but Dave actually in his retirement is now a security guard at Twitter. And so he's
just got bought out.
Some deep, he's retiring again. He's taking a buyout, taking a severance package.
That's right.
Elon's. Man, the gang's all here, huh? What's up, boys? Night shift time. Anything goes on night shift.
Wow, this is a pleasure for me. Like this is what we call a quote honor. This is nice. It's my first time meeting Eric too. This is to tell you, this is we've said 5 words to each other.
Lastro Lopez says this looks like 2 shaved balls surrounding a ween. This is night shift, guys.
Dave and Mike duck a little bit. Just duck a little bit, Wall.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let's get. That is an erect Eric in the middle, something like that. This is Night Shift of the Failure to Stop podcast, guys, where we're the #1 show where law enforcement meets culture. It's literally indisputable. You can try, but you'll be wrong. Okay, this is the best law enforcement related podcast on the planet. And we have 4 different show types right now. You are listening to Night Shift. We broadcast it live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on the Failure to Stop YouTube channel, which is killing it right now. And everything's on the upward trajectory. We're like that old game on The Price is Right.
Oh, God, the yodeling.
I love that game. That was one of my favorites.
I know, it was my favorite game. I always loved it when they had it. I was like, yes, this is worth my time. And that's what the show is doing. We're just climbing up.
I think was it called Plinko? No.
No, Plinko was you drop it down into the
yeah.
Okay.
That disc
drops.
Yeah, but don't you drop the disc and then the yodeler climbs?
T. Clausen 30, Mike. That is the longest opening of a beef stick. I agree. There was a problem with this particular.
Oh, he's had bigger in his mouth. I can assure you that.
Yeah, no doubt. But this is like putting on a condom. You think it's hard, but getting off the wrapper of the beef stick is even harder.
Yeah,
so gross.
Oh, 2022 problems.
That's true.
All right.
Well, let me tell you my problem tonight. Jimmy, the overpay producer, is not here. And so I'm in the studio by myself. And the way the studio is we call it the Millennium Falcon. It's a room inside of a room. So it's like a soundproof room, but I've got windows so I can see anybody out in the waiting area, which there is a golfing game in the waiting area. And there is a lifelike picture of John Daly of him walking around the golf course. And every time it comes up, I think somebody is in my, is like walking through the studio, and it scares me every time. So I keep jolting. But
I'd like to thank our new sponsors, Heineken, for this fresh Heineken Zero.
Actually, no shit. Our new sponsor is Hard as Fuck Seltzer. They sent me 2 cases of Hard as Fuck Seltzer, 8%. I'm drinking the lemon lime right now. Absolutely dope. I'm enjoying.
Do they not send me some because they know I'm staying sober for 2022?
Yeah, they just sent your case to me. So
It's sad, Mike.
Well,
You're sad.
That's
I don't want to hear about your sobriety.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit about your sobriety.
Loser.
Apparently not.
Depressing. It makes me want to become a vigilante serial killer.
I'm gonna go complain about this on Twitter.
You can't even get it started.
The gang's all here. Dave and Eric have now formally met each other. I introduced you guys on text message. If you guys haven't been talking, that's on you. Oh, you already made it? Bro, sweet.
What's our stop?
Shut up.
Failure stop.
Oh no, this is gonna kill us. Okay, if you want to follow,
what are we?
If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's failure stop. What?
That's the worst.
Why couldn't we do failure the number 2 and then stop?
Yeah, try that. Change our handle, damn it.
Okay.
Gosh,
failure.
You're right. Producer,
he couldn't even think about that. Like he couldn't even think like maybe put a 2 in there or like a TOO.
Can you do like a failure and then the Roman numerals to stop?
FTS.
Yeah, FTS.
Something. No.
FTS podcast.
Yeah.
I just ran out of time. I ran out of time. I should have just let you guys do the open and leave me out of the whole thing. And I could have just got us going on Twitter. I could have had us 1,000 followers by now.
All right.
All right. Tonight's show, we are talking about serial killer. Yes. But vigilante. Also, yes. / hero we all want, need. I don't know. Batman, if he took it all away and didn't follow his own rules. Dexter in real life. Is this guy the Brazilian man on fire? What is going on with this dude that serial killed a bunch of people? Eric is going to tell us a story, and Dave and I are just going to react.
I might cry. Seriously, yeah, this is scary already. You know,
it's a lot of fun. This one's fun. It's not as like, I mean, it's dark, but it's not like super dark. You know what I mean?
All right. I'm excited.
Let's do it, baby.
I think it's gonna be a good time. But if you look at Wikipedia and if you just Google, like serial killers by numbers, serial killers that have killed the most people, a lot of them, like the top 4 or 5, are all from Colombia, Ecuador, Brazil. Or
Really? I can't help but laugh at the idea that you somehow had to Google like who's killed the most people. I just love the idea of that. Let's share this.
Which Wikipedia has it all listed out, and it's funny. Like the number 1 is Luis Gravito, who killed people in Colombia, Ecuador, and Venezuela between 1992 and 1999, and it was 193 people. And he was a child murderer, torturer, and killer. Then you have Pedro Lopez, who committed crimes in Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador from 69 to 80. 300 plus people, child murder and rapist. A Pakistani who killed 100 people. He was also child murderer, rapist. A Russian serial killer, nicknamed the Rare Wolf. And then you have
werewolf or rare wolf.
Werewolf, W-E-R-E wolf.
I just thought he was like maybe well, I mean, he was rare, I guess. If he now, when you say child murderer and rapist, are you talking about that's who they killed?
Yes. Yep. And then we have another one, Daniel Barbosa, who committed crimes in Colombia, Ecuador, and Brazil between 74 and 86, who was also a child and woman murderer, believed to have possibly raped and killed over 150 victims.
Wait, he killed women?
Then this other guy does. And then 6th on the list is our guy that we're talking about tonight, Pedro Rodrigues Filho. who committed crimes between 1967 and 2003.
Whoa, that's a long time.
Yep. He
Handsome
proven victims are 71. Possible victims are over 100.
Yeah, I like the look of this guy.
I'm guessing they're being very conservative about the numbers for some reason too.
He looks
So
like
now
he's about
he
ready to do a
claims-
rock show in that picture. Like he's about ready to go on stage. That's
He
the
looks
green
like-
room.
He looks like Barack Obama from like the early 90s.
Yeah, he does. That's his community organizer days.
With his
At
little
the
fro.
beach.
Anyway, Pedro Rodrigues Filho, which Filho means junior, I guess, in this instance. So instead of saying Filho all night, I'm just going to say junior because his dad was Pedro Rodrigues and his dad comes into the story quite a bit. But old Pedro is a free man, believe it or not.
Dude, how?
So number 6 on the list of most kills by a serial killer on Wikipedia, and he's a free man. And we'll talk about that as well. But
Jeez.
this is a law enforcement correction officer's worst nightmare, this guy. Also maybe a drug dealer's worst nightmare, a father's worst nightmare, a gang member's worst nightmare. This guy's just a fucking nightmare.
This is my worst nightmare. Good Lord.
Not me. I want to meet this guy.
Yeah, I mean,
That's right.
I
You
wanna
do
take
want to
him
kill
to a-
everyone.
I want to take him to a churrascaria, or however they say it in Brazilian, the meat place,
the
where we
Brazilian
just put the green
steakhouse.
cards up. Yeah, yeah.
I
And
love
I want to
those.
just, I want to. You turn it to green if you want to kill a child molester, and you turn it to red if you want to chill out for a little bit.
I got you. That's basically what this guy did. He was like the Brazilian steakhouse of serial killers.
Yes,
Yes, and he is known
murder
by
de
millions
Brazil.
to be a hero. So, and that's because his victims were mainly criminals. Not that here's the problem.
Mainly
Not all
emphasis
of
on the
them.
mainly.
Not all of them were criminals. So
That's where
we
this all
get
breaks
serial
down.
Killer or vigilante? I don't know, because one dude he whacks is just for snoring too loud in a bunk. At least that's what.
Honestly, you guys know me. I'm all about killing people, like for
I know.
small
Yeah.
reasons.
We know that. We know that.
So I don't know that that necessarily disqualifies him from being the hero.
I
because
snore. If you
that
ask
dude-
Lazaro Lopez, I'm a very loud snorer when I'm overly tired.
Yeah, well, you bet.
And
I
he
bet
calls
you
it-
would.
do you know what-
I bet
do you
you
know
would
what
figure
Lazaro
out how to
Lopez-
not do that if you were.
Do you know what
in,
Lazaro
Filho's
Lopez
prison.
calls it? He calls it vapor lock. And that's when you sleep on your back and you clench your butt cheeks together. It's you've sealed off your butthole and it causes you to snore louder because you're vapor locked.
Yeah, trying to seal in the freshness.
So you got to sleep on your stomach so you don't vape lock yourself.
Can you imagine trying to sleep lightly around this dude though? Like being like, I'm his cellmate. Like, how do you even become like? How do you survive as a cellmate? Like, you couldn't even sleep at night.
Yeah, you're like,
afraid
you
to
get in there
snore.
and you're like, hey, I just want to start this off by saying, one, it's a pleasure to meet you. And two, I'm innocent.
I'm a big admirer of your work.
I did not.
Never raped a kid.
I-
I've never done anything like that.
And that's the thing is because like his gambit of like what he found was evil pretty wide. He's like a hippopotamus of serial killers where his like territory is like a whole fucking river. It's like you don't know if you're in the hippopotamus's territory or not until he just kills you.
He's like the guy from Braveheart, where it's like all of Ireland is his. Yeah, it's mine.
Yeah.
He views all of Brazil as his. It's
This is mine. This is my Brazilian prison. But yeah, and here's an interesting fact to think about while we're going through this is that the average lifespan in a Brazilian prison is 15 years because of disease and basically just getting killed. So Brazilian
disease
Prison?
and/or
STDs
natural
and
death
stuff.
by murder.
Yes. So really, really foul shit. But anyway, so Pedro Rodrigues was born in a nice little country farm in Santa Rita. Santa Rita, Brazil. But when he was a child, his father was very abusive. And when his mom was pregnant, he kicked the mom in the stomach, which actually bruised his skull inside the womb. When his mother gave birth, he actually had an indentation in his skull where his skull was pushed in by his father's foot when he kicked his pregnant wife. Isn't that pretty nuts?
Nice.
So he already had a TBI before he even came into this world, which
So
I'm
far, I
sure
don't
had
see
a lot
problem, so.
to do with this. But you know, in the FBI statistics, serial killers, and I've been studying serial killers all day because this show was originally going to be the top 10 worst serial killers. And now it's just a show about this guy because he's badass. But FBI statistics say that like there was often like most serial killers have some kind of abuse, trauma, or some kind of something sexually happens to them. And in this case, there was none of that, except maybe he got kicked in the fucking womb.
He got his ass beat before he was born.
His dad brought him up, and his dad was a security guard at a local elementary school.
Oh, he's like Dave.
Yes. So,
Irvin.
so his dad is a security guard at this school, and his dad has this like he teaches his son about kind of like justice, and he says to Pedro at a very young age that like crime can only be met with crime. Like you can only deal with criminals by committing crimes against criminals. And for whatever reason that stuck in Pedro's head, he brought this out in an interview in about 2011, where he said that kind of always stuck with him. Well, one day his crime spree starts at 13 years old. Now his first murder is at 14 years old, but at 13 years old, he borrows his cousin's horse, goes on a little horseback ride with his cousin's horse, gets back, gets off the horse, and his cousin walks up, socks him right in the face for borrowing his horse without asking. So after he gets up off the ground and the cousin was going back to work, which they worked grinding up sugar cane, he walks over to confront the cousin. The cousin tries to kick him. He catches his foot, pushes him all the way over to the sugarcane mill, which is a big iron, heavy weighted iron thing that crushes sugarcane. And he's hopping along and he's got him by the foot and he dumps him into the sugarcane thing. Except
single leg takedown from hell.
Right. Except he doesn't get sucked all the way through the sugarcane mill as Pedro thought he was going to. Instead, just his arm gets grounded up and the whole thing seizes up and stops. The kid's crying in pain, ends up losing his arm over it. So Pedro is
Deserved.
like in a little bit of trouble for that. And then
A little
literally, yeah, right. So that happens, but he doesn't die. There's not really much. I couldn't do any research on the cousin. I couldn't find his name or anything like that, or kind of what punishment Pedro got from this. But only a few months later, Pedro now turns 14. His dad is accused by the local mayor of stealing food from the school of cafeteria or cantina, as they call it in Brazil.
Ooh.
And so he spreads kind of this rumor that Pedro's dad, the security guard, is stealing from the cantina. So Pedro's like, no. Goes to granddaddy's house, grabs a double-barreled shotgun, confronts the mayor in front of town hall, and shoots him in the chest, kills him dead.
14.
And then runs.
At age 14.
At age 14, smokes this dude right in the middle of the
mayor.
The mayor in front of town hall.
The mayor of town.
So
that's a plot in Back to the Future I could have gotten behind.
Yep. So he flees to like Ecuador or something like that for just a couple of months. And while he's over there,
I got to get out of town. I just killed the mayor.
Yeah.
I like how he leaves for like 2 months and he's okay. He's all set. Come back. Come on back.
Right.
You're okay.
So he leaves, and while he's there, he kind of has to steal and rob people. Like he's got to steal because he doesn't have a job. He's only 14. He's got to eat. And so he feels bad about this. And so while he's there, he decides, fuck it. There's a lot of drug dealers. I'm just going to start stealing from them. So while they would get all drugged up and go to sleep, he would sneak into their house and like rob them and shit. But then he returns back to his home, back to the old farm, where he finds out the truth is that it was another security guard that was stealing the food and had kind of set his dad up. So he goes and confronts that dude and murders him.
Do we know how?
I think he shoots him with the same fucking gun.
Nice.
Old reliable, I think Filio called that.
So he he goes back and gets the same shotgun and shoots this dude, and then he flees again, and he lives in the local slums for a couple of years where he really feels like, all right, I'm gonna start fucking with illegal drug trafficking and guys like that. So at 15 and 16, he kills a couple of drug traffickers, a couple of slumlords. He catches them in back alleys, hits them over the head with blunt objects, stabs them, all sorts. There's no kind of telling how many people he killed. But then he finally takes a break at about 16 because he meets a girl named Maria Aparecida Olympia. He falls in love with her, gets engaged. Here's where things go to shit. One of the local gang members actually impregnates her.
Oof.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, he doesn't know that she impregnated him, but then the drug dealer guy, the gang lord, knows that he impregnated her, knows that she's with Pablo. So Pablo goes to visit some relatives at some kind of shindig and comes home to find his wife, pregnant wife, murdered.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dead as fuck. So this is badass. So then he's like super guilt stricken. He's like, fuck this, fuck all these guys. He ends up hunting down anybody attached to this gang and torturing them for information to figure out who was like directly involved with this murder. And he finds out the guy's name that's directly involved with this murder, and then finds out that the guy is going to this, not Pedro's cousin, but this gang leader's cousin's wedding. And Pedro's familiar with this gang leader's cousin. And he's like, all right, you gonna be at that wedding? Perfect. Shows up, shoots 23 people at the wedding, killing 7.
With what?
That's a real red wedding right there.
Well, it's him and 2 friends that do the shooting. Now, out of the 23 people, like not all of them were gang members. Some of them were just people that were there to see a wedding.
Day for a red wedding.
Yeah.
Like little grandma. No.
Oh no, Pedro Filho. It's me, abuelita. No más. I don't know Brazilian Portuguese.
I don't
know the words. We
What's the
sound very
difference?
Mexican, like if that.
So this, I believe, was in Colombia. This wedding was in Colombia. So then he flees
maybe
all
we
the way
okay then.
from Colombia back to Brazil. So he comes home and now he's 19 years old. Well, when he gets home, he finds out that his mother has been murdered. And he's like,
does this guy have any luck at all?
What the
Well, he's got
fuck?
good luck killing people, but that's about it.
He has good luck evading capture
Oh, crap.
or justification in front of anybody for his actions.
Now, I've listened to a podcast where he talks about this, and he said he was in jail for petty theft, but the judge let him out for the mother's funeral. But all of the blog posts that I've read say that he returned from Colombia and then like learned that his mom was dead. So his telling of the story is that he was in jail for like petty theft, finds out that his mom's been murdered in jail, and then the judge lets him go to the funeral. While he's at the funeral, he swears that he'll find his dad and he'll kill him. So he gets visitation rights and he sets up this whole plan to meet his father in prison. And he hasn't seen his dad in like 5 or 6 years. So he goes up, and his dad had stabbed his mom with a machete 21 times and cut her limbs off.
Sensible.
In a drunken rage after his family convinced him that she was like basically toxic and she shouldn't be talking shit about him being abusive to other people. And so he gets in this fit of rage that she's maybe like talking shit about him, goes and hacks her up to like prove a point to all the people in the village that he's the fucking cock of the roost, you know?
Wow.
So he fucking hacks her up. Well, he stabbed her 21 times, according to the police report. So Pedro
That's what we call in the
infiltrates.
biz a crime of passion.
Yes. So no, that's not a crime of passion. That's a crime of being a complete asshole. So he shows up to prison and goes to visit his dad. And it's all set up for like the police guards are like, cool, he's gonna get to see his dad, yada yada yada. Sees his dad, he pulls out a shank, stabs his dad 22 times, cuts his chest open, reaches in, grabs his heart, takes a bite out of it in front of everybody, spits the bite of the heart out, throws the heart down, and then just like turns himself in. Well, he's in prison, so there's no turning himself in.
I want that painting somewhere. That's cool.
Takes a bite of his dad's heart, and basically, this is at
Kali
19
Maha
years old.
Shakti Day.
This is at 19 years old. So when I watched, you can look up this guy on YouTube and you can watch these interviews with this cat. And he was like, yeah, I just took a little bite of it and I spit it right out. And he's like, some people call me a cannibal. I'm not a cannibal. I just wanted to do this to prove a point.
Why is it all of a sudden now he doesn't want to be called something weird? Like he's been look, I just took a nibble. It wasn't like I took a big old deep bite. It wasn't deep fried. Like what the hell what's the difference at this point?
Yeah.
You took a
It's
bite
your
of your dad's
dad's
heart that
dead
you tore out.
Heart.
He's like, you call me a serial killer, but don't you dare call me a cannibal, or I'll fucking eat you.
You can call me a lot of things.
You call me a cannibal again, I'm gonna kill you, and then I'm gonna eat you. Wait a second.
Oh, God.
So then he's fucked. Now he's like in prison. And while he's in prison,
I like how it was
He-
22 times
Oh.
over the 21 that he stabbed his mom. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, you want to do 21 times? Well, how about 22 for dad?
so he kills the dad, goes to jail, or like obviously he's in jail, but now he's going to like fuck you in the ass Brazilian prison because you just murdered a motherfucker in jail. So the transport guys put him in a transport vehicle with two other criminals. One was a rapist and the other one was something else. I don't even remember what it was. Well, the guard comes back, like gets out of the car, does some paperwork, gets back in. There's only one person in the fucking car alive.
Oh my
That's
God.
Pedro.
Of course it is.
So I guess what he says happened is the rapist spat off, like he knew that the guy was a rapist. So he killed that dude, and the other guy tried to defend him. So he fucking killed that guy as well. In the back
Do
of
we know how
in the
he
back of
killed
a
him?
van. Beating the fuck out of him, I guess.
That makes it even more brutal, though. I mean, that really doesn't it? Like, probably smash his skull. God.
Yeah,
Just
well,
like I wanna
so
do to Mike.
the majority, like when he was asked on this other podcast, like what his modus operandi was, what his favorite way of killing people was, he was like stabbing. I loved stabbing people. Like that's the best way. Like that's the most, like that was the best feeling that he got was from
So we
stabbing
could
someone.
watch the life drain from their eyes.
But when he was 14, or when he was like 15 or 16, when he was in that little hiatus where he was killing drug dealers, he talked about like one day he was walking home and he saw a 12-year-old girl who had just been raped, and the guy was like walking away, and he asked her if that was the guy that raped her, and he said yeah. And so he ran up behind the guy and hit him with a rock, and then just crushed him, like hit him over and over again with this huge fucking boulder. He crushed the guy's skull. So he's kind of killed people in all sorts of ways.
One thing I do know is that this place has a rape problem. This country has a serious freaking rape problem.
Dude, it really does.
Good Lord.
If you look at the Wikipedia, I mean, it's all like child sex rapes, which is crazy because, we have in where I work, there was like a Hispanic trailer park. And almost every time you got caught there, it was either for domestic violence or statutory rape. Like, some dude was fucking some little girl. And it was like a running joke. It was like, anytime you got called that trailer park, you're like, oh God, it's either going to be a fucking child rape case or it's going to be domestic violence. But that was it. Other than that, they policed themselves. There was no like break-ins or anything else. So,
This is my 15-year-old daughter, Piñata.
What?
Every uncle gets a swing.
I don't think that's,
Dude, what the hell?
I don't think that's how that works at all.
What?
No.
Oh, that's a quinceañera. I'm sorry.
I feel like a worse person now.
Now that I'm associated with you,
Yeah.
I'm related.
I just wanted to make it uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Good job.
uncomfortable. You win. I was uncomfortable every time I went to that trailer park. Now I'm uncomfortable every time I think about talking about going to that. But anyway, this guy, obviously he's gone to prison for a while, and his life in prison wasn't like unlike anybody else's, except the fact that he killed 42 fucking prisoners while he was there.
Oh my God.
Now, let's go back to the cop car thing.
After the first
How
5,
fucked
do you think they might
that cop
separate them?
was? How fucked do you think that cop
Yeah,
was?
right.
Like, you walk away from your cop car, you do some like transport papers, you walk back, and there are 2 dead dudes, and one dude just kind of smiling in the back of your patrol car, and you're like, oh God. I'm gonna need a supervisor. I'm gonna need a
From the sounds of
supervisor.
it, I feel like in Brazil, they would have just kicked them on the curb and been like, well, one less mouth to feed. I don't know.
Could you
I
imagine
wonder
that
what
happen now? You'd be like, Riley, can I get a supervisor reference?
That looks like I'm looking inside some type of metallic vagina with a lot of kids in it.
It looks like a Turkish prison.
You ever been to a Turkish prison?
You
buddy?
went-
Yes, if you're not,
Like a
if you're
Greek
following on
bathhouse.
podcast, if you want to look on YouTube, you can see pictures of what a Brazilian prison looks like. Definitely does not look comfortable. It's not
No,
like the
it
American
doesn't.
prisons here.
There's
So
a freaking
another good
machete. The
picture.
guy's holding a machete.
Oh, it does. And is
Well,
the
that
other
was
guy got
during-
a gun in his hand, or is that a
That's
peace
during
sign?
that's during one of the riots.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Which
there are more riots than
he's
rapes
going to
there.
later go to jail. He's going to get released from prison, and then he's going to go back to jail for one of those riots.
Good Lord.
But yes, so he kills 42 men. At one point, he kills so many. At this point, he's killed 42. He's going to end up killing 47 total. But at this point, he's up to like 42. Well, a gang of 5 guys are like, all right, enough's enough. This dude's killing people all over the place. And we're going to be next.
There's a meeting of the warden staff. What are we going to do about the Filio situation?
All right, gentlemen, we have another situation here.
I've been on holiday. What's been going on? We're down 42 inmates. What?
Let me guess. Filio. Yep. Is at it again.
I've given a name to my pain, and it is Filio.
Yes. Yes. So Filio, these 5 guys decide they're going to fucking take care of Filio. And as they
Government
approach
guys
him,
or like prisoners? I'm sorry.
prisoners. These are
Okay.
prisoners, and they're
Okay,
like,
guys.
we might be next. I mean, this dude, there's no, because one of their, according to their records, is he killed a dude for fucking snoring too loud.
Yeah.
So now they're like, dude, we don't know who's going to be next. Let's just go ahead and take this asshole out
Dude,
because I'm tired of living in fear.
The 5 fattest dudes in the fucking prison, knowing they're just gonna be sawing fucking logs until he kills them. Like, we gotta strike first, man.
They're like, we gotta get this guy.
We ain't got no ghost bed, bro. Let's get this shit going.
Yeah, there's no ghost beds in the Brazilian
Pedro
prison.
killed no one ever that slept on a ghost bed. So your safety is at stake here, people. You need one. I'm telling you.
So he goes into, so these 5 guys go to approach him, turns around and kills 3 of them. The other 2 are like, yep, I'm out. Sorry. And they run. So now he gets sentenced to 400 years in prison. He gets a 400-year prison sentence.
That's only like 5 years a person.
However, the criminal psychologist in Brazil determines that he is a psychopath.
Oh,
Sociopath.
wow.
So he's mentally ill.
That's a good
We
doctor
haven't
right
established
there.
that yet.
Yeah.
And now, and the rule is in Brazil that you can't go to jail for more than 40 years.
Ever for anything?
No.
Time served.
Time served.
What I read is that they changed it to 40 because of Pedro.
Originally it was
To
30.
let him out?
Originally,
They
it was
let him
30,
out
they
in
changed it to 40 after
2003.
him.
Oh.
Oh, he was too dangerous for the prison system.
In 2003, they let him out, but then he was immediately like, he didn't make it even out the gates. Because then they were like, wait a minute. No, he has to serve time for the murders in prison. So they're like, oh yeah, because those are new crimes. So they arrest him again, or like they kind of like re-put him back into the prison where he serves another 8 fucking years. Then in 2011, they're like, yeah, no, he's good. Let's let him back out. But then they are like, nope, let's make him serve time for the riots that he caused. So they send
He
him
caused
back
riots
in.
too?
Yeah.
You know, I could just see his cell. Like, they somehow like made the drain hole bigger. They gave him a spigot so they could just hose the place down when he's done for the evening. He just goes and kills people. They spray it down, let it all drain through.
They have like a cleaning crew just for him. Clean up, Filio's cell. Bring the normal equipment. Bring the squeegee. They've got a trench drain in his thing, so they can just like shove all the parts, like all the particles, like into the trench drain.
Attention prisoners, please avoid all vapor locks in your cell. Please, we repeat, do not vapor lock yourself.
Sleep on your stomach.
Move your nuts from your anus immediately.
So after it's all said and done, he gets released for good in 2018. Pedro overall killed 71 criminals that are proven through prison records. Since his release, he started a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is up to 252,000 followers, subscribers. Pretty cool. It's all in Brazil, like in Portuguese, so it's hard to fucking understand.
That makes sense.
But according to the judicial system, he was a psychopath turned serial killer. However, millions of other people see him as a hero vigilante. I can't believe there's no movie about this. I know that Dexter was, they claim that Dexter was kind of written based on this loosely. Yeah, there's a lot of like similarities, and there's like a lot of blogs that show all the similarities in some of the episodes. But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this would be a really, really good movie.
Yeah,
It might be rated R even.
NC-17 probably.
But he's one of the few serial killers that never raped anybody. That's pretty cool.
But he did kill rapists. So
But he did kill rapists.
And I'm not convinced that the guy that was just snoring too loud hadn't confessed doing something else. Because he seems to be the odd man out.
Right. Well, I mean, there's 72 people that he murdered. There's no like records of what these 72 guys did. Like, I didn't get to go and look through it. Like, what if it was shoplifting? I'm willing to bet it's not shoplifting, but
kill him.
All it had to do was piss him off, like just for that moment. It looks like anyway. So what's you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he really needed a reason. I think he was just past that point. Although, like, it just gave him a like instant reason for there to be like a rapist. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
right. Well, he says in an interview that after he had killed the mayor and the other guy, that he was sick to his stomach until he killed the guy that was raping the 12-year-old that he bludgeoned to death. He said he felt sick to his stomach about the two murders until he killed that one. And then he wasn't sick to his stomach anymore. He felt good about it.
So a sense of relief when he killed somebody.
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Or what he perceived as doing the right thing, maybe too.
Right.
Like he could somehow like atone for those sins by murdering another. Like, I'm reaching here, but I don't think I'm far off.
But I mean, what a life to live! Like, you think about like all the people that you ever encountered. I mean, this guy's got one hell of a life, and the fact that he's on YouTube telling his story. I mean, there is so many YouTube videos of this guy like talking on podcasts and stuff. And he's very frank, very matter of fact. And this one podcast I was watching, they like really go hard and they're like, don't you find a problem with that? I'm like, bitch, I wouldn't be questioning this dude. There's no fucking telling. There's no telling.
He's killed half the people he's ever talked to. So
next thing you know, he's eating your buddy's heart right there live on air. Be great for ratings, but not good for your co-host.
God.
Yeah.
This guy's got a serial killer recounting all of his crimes on YouTube, but we have part of a podcast removed, 10 minutes of a podcast removed because of a terrorist in prison.
So Filho was described by a psychiatrist as the perfect psychopath, though others prefer to classify him as a sociopath instead. A psychological report diagnosed Filho with a paranoid and antisocial traits. Criminologist and writer, I'm not going to say that name, suggested that Filho was an Avenger vigilante type serial killer with great intelligence and an almost photographic memory who built all of his identity over his murders.
God, I wonder if he was a religious guy too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if somehow he like pushed that part of that in his brain. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird thought. Like, God, can you even imagine?
All right, here's the list in order. 1967 was his first shot at throwing his cousin in the cane press. 1968, he killed the vice mayor of Alphenas.
The cousin had it coming. What kind of cousin doesn't let you have their horse for a day?
Yeah,
cousin had that coming.
Probably. The unnamed or the mayor of Alphenas and the school guard he killed in 1968. 1969 to 1973, he killed a drug dealer. He did the wedding massacre where they killed 7. He killed this rival gang leader named China. He shot him in the chest with a shotgun. He killed 6 unnamed people where he shot them as well. 16 unnamed people were shot. And that's all in between 1969 and 73. Then he killed his father. Then he killed the guy who impregnated his cousin. Then he killed 11 criminals, all in various causes in that like couple of year stretch after his father. Then May 24th, he killed the rapist in the cop car. 1973 to 2003. It's just a whole list of fucking names, dude. J.O. Acosta de Costa.
At some point, it becomes just like ish. This time he killed like 16-ish dudes that got caught up in some drug problems. And there's like 40-ish folks for the first 10 years in prison.
Wish I had that kind of intestinal fortitude.
So he, let's see here. He says he counts that the body count is over 100, though the claim has never been confirmed by authorities. Only 71 have been confirmed. Only 71, which gives him the number 6 most horrific serial killer on Wikipedia's list of serial killers.
He doesn't seem like he's a liar, though.
Dude, he's definitely not a liar.
I feel like I really want to believe his 100 over the 70.
He doesn't have really anything to gain or lose. The guy doesn't seem to care whether or not he kills someone or gets caught.
He clearly knows he's not going to be number 1 at the all-time kill rate. Okay, so at this point, why would you lie about it? Makes no sense.
There's no motivation there.
Yeah, and I'm not going to call him a liar.
No,
fucking
you only do
your
that
wedding.
once.
Yeah. Next thing you know, you're having a
Twitter.
baptism and everybody kills him.
We should pick on him if he's on Twitter. I'm going to start a fight and I'm going to say
but
I'm you on Twitter.
It would be cool though to like get somebody like that on the podcast. Problem is he doesn't speak any English, so
I know enough people that speak Portuguese.
that would be really
Come
tough.
in here and translate.
It'd be real tough. You ever try to do a DUI through one of those like interpreting lines?
I just let them go if they spoke another language.
You guys can do that shit without me. I can tell you that much. You do that shit right without me. Okay?
Right?
I'll watch it
Like,
live.
you remember the Leola shooting? If that dude would have been like, he would have been like, do you speak English? And the guy was like, if he would have just said no, he'd have been like,
All right, get out of
All
here,
right.
man.
all right, well, let me just get in your car. Like, give me that license plate and you just fuck right off. I would have lived. All you had to do is say, I didn't speak English.
There is a question on here. Who killed his wife? Who actually ended up killing his wife? Didn't his wife get killed?
Yeah, the gang member. It
was
the
like
gang leader.
Was it the guy who impregnated her, or do we not? That's an unclear part of the story?
So he's the one that took the hit out, and so he's the one. It's unclear, but I believe he's the one that took the hit out to have her killed, and it was his cousin's wedding.
God, I like how there are so many bodies piled up that you can't even keep like stories straight at this point. Like,
you know who would make a good movie?
This dude's just stacking bodies. And the cool thing about this guy is that like he lived 42 years in Brazilian prisons. 42 fucking years. Like, he didn't just do his time in a nice little prison where he just stayed to himself and he stayed quiet like Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, this motherfucker was like living the life in prison.
God, I did see his belly too, so he was eating pretty well, somewhat well.
There was a few hefty dudes in that Brazilian prison.
I'm pretty sure that's probably that might be a stress belly. Like, I feel like if you murdered that many people, you get the stress belly. Sleeping with that many bodies under your fucking guys like Jared Taylor.
Well, how in the world did these 5 dudes, these prisoners, the fat guys that snore a lot, how did they somehow not kill this dude? Like,
well, I think what I'm thinking is they were probably like pedophiles or like rapists, where they were like, dude, this guy hunts people like us. So it's time that we become the hunters. But they're pedophiles, so they're pussies, right?
Yes.
Like,
so they don't know how to hunt.
They don't fucking know how to hunt. But they're
weirdos.
like, dude, now it's time to do lion shit. And then they, but they're not lions. They're like little fucking kittens, and they show up. And 3 of them get their guts.
Pedro's so much bigger than our victims.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about that. Got a tiger on his belly. He means he looks mean.
Why are they German? Like, why are they German?
They go into a rave, Mike?
Want to sneak into a cell and kill a man? You know what I'm saying? This guy thinks he's special. Thinks he's a vigilante. Not today.
They're all wearing
not
black
on my watch.
turtlenecks.
But then, like, if you're the 2 guys that escaped, where do you go into hiding? Like, how do you hide from that?
Not in those rooms, you don't.
You're like, hey, dude, about that whole thing, that was their idea. That wasn't our idea. We're just gonna fuck right off, homeboy.
Yeah.
apologies. Lo siento, por favor.
You speak Portuguese?
I would give anything to have body cam footage of you trying to like communicate with someone in Spanish on the job. It'd be my
Buongiorno.
favorite thing.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Gorlami.
So they always said that I had,
Gorlami.
they always said when I was a cop, Dave, they always said I had the lucky horseshoe stuck in my ass. I don't know why it'd be stuck in my ass. I don't know why I couldn't just be in my pocket, but everybody said I had a lucky
Only
horseshoe.
one place
on my
for a
ass.
lucky horseshoe. You know that.
I guess.
It loses all of its mojo if it's not.
And
in
so
your ass.
I'm with my training officer one night, and we were doing this like patrol around a park, and there's a drug deal. It definitely went down, but we were up on a hill, and the drug deal went down on a cul-de-sac. And we see the whole thing, like we see the car pull up, we see them turn their lights off, they drive up, they do the whole hand-to-hand. I mean, it's 100% obvious what happened. And so the cars go to leave, and we're standing up on the top of the hill, and I was like, what are we doing? He's like, dude, there's nothing we can do. Like, they're way the fuck down there. They're not going to stop for us. We're on foot. What are they going to do? You're going to just yell, and they're just going to stop their car? And I go, hey, stop, police. And they both stop. And he goes, get the fuck out of here. So I start walking down the hill. I mean, dude, it's like a 200-meter walk. I walk all the way up to the car. I tell him to turn the car off.
metric system?
It's so much easier. It's so much better. And I walk up to the car,
America.
and it's two Hispanics. And I, I was like, you speak English? And they're like, no. And I was like, you got pistolas in the car? No pistolas. Drogas? Yes. Yeah. No pistolas. No pistolas. Drogas? Yes. I said, cocaine? Yes.
I just
Marijuana?
want a shirt now.
He
I
goes,
want a shirt that just says "Jizz."
Yes.
he says, I said, do you have any marijuana? And he goes, no marijuana. I said, cocaine? And he's like, yes. I said, heroin?
Gay
Yes.
Hispanics.
Lo siento. And I
Yeah,
said,
why you gotta make the Mexicans gay, bro?
so I said, like, I went like this. I was like, you smoke?
Sí, un
I was
poquito
like-
cocaína. Mhm.
I'm like, what's her name from Modern Family? I'm leaning down into the car like this. Pistolas?
Pistolas,
Yes.
drogas.
Yes, senor. So then I said,
Want
you
to smack my piñata, boys?
I asked him if they smoked the smoked it or whatever, and he was like, no. And I said, Giselle,
These
like,
guys are so
like
gay.
show guys. He's like, yes, dude. I ended up getting like 10 bundles of heroin out of this vehicle and like 2 8 balls of cocaine.
Afterwards he was reliving that scene from Colors when they're like, no, let's walk down and fuck them all. The fucking bull story.
And, like, my
Run down
training
there and
off-
fuck one of them sheep, whatever. No, let's walk down there and fuck them all. That's Tansey. He's all so excited about it.
my training officer was so pissed because he was like,
So much
what
paperwork.
the fuck, man? How did you do that? Like, and if I would have yelled, they would have just driven right off, like just driven right the fuck off. But no, you yell like a retard for them to stop, and they just sit there. They even turn their lights on. Like they were sitting there with their lights out. They turned the lights on. Pistolas,
Inventory
no.
the car for you and
Drogas,
everything.
yes.
They were
My
just gay,
God.
gay Hispanic dancers. This is like their first time like muling. Like they just like, yeah, yes, you got me.
Hey,
Hey,
Craig
Craigers.
Gillespie coming in hot with the super chat.
Man.
Date Daddy Transy rocking that cleavage.
Hey, Craigers, is that emotional cheating? If you liked my cleavage, is that considered emotional cheating?
I hope so.
It is. It's lust in his heart. It's a sin.
Lázaro Lopez says 2 8 balls ain't much. That's just a quad. Lázaro, I'm going to apologize right now for arresting your cousins. They were super polite and cooperative. They are now back.
You know
in
Lázaro
Mexico.
Lopez? Jeez.
Jeez. Muy beautiful.
You listen to the Failure to Stop podcast? Jeez. You can go. You're free to go. Leave the drugs.
Oh, you're killing me.
Julier.
Jeez.
Did you ever remember when they used to do what Mexican word of the day? Did you ever see those memes? And the ones that
yeah.
the Mexican word of the day is July, July, and it says Julier. Mexican word of the day is July. They use it in a sentence, Julier. You lied to me.
You lied to me.
You liar. Oh my god.
The chat's playing along. Yes.
Jeez.
Who's
They were
that girl?
so-
It's Jay.
They were so polite and cooperative, man. I felt so bad for them. Like they were just kind of like sitting there, like hanging out. They had no idea what was going on. They're like, in Mike on 3, this is okay. You know. Mike on 3.
Not bad enough to let him go, of course. He just
No.
slaps those cuffs right on him.
I smash out the 2 8-balls on the concrete.
I don't care.
Won't get
I don't
now.
care if the Sinaloa
get.
cartel comes after me.
Like it's these 10 bundles of heroin that you have that I can't really look past.
You guys be on
What
your
if-
way, okay?
What if they would have told you their boss wouldn't be happy, and you're like, "Who's your boss? Who's your jefe?" And he's like, "They're like Pedro Filho." You're like, "Shit."
The thing is, though, is that they had like, I want to say they had like $2,200 in cash. So like whatever that car is that pulled out after they did the deal, like they had more drugs that they sold that dude $2,200 worth, or at least however much they've been selling all night
Yeah.
in a cul-de-sac in a park. Not very smart because cops patrol parks. Like that's what I always thought is like, why do people fucking parks? Like, do they not know that cops pretty much have to go patrol the parks like every night, a couple of times a night? It's
Yeah,
on
fucking
your-
the residential neighborhoods. We don't go there.
No.
We've got some Mexican
I hang out
words
in
of
the
the
park,
day
man.
here for the crowd.
What's
Mexican
that?
word of the day. Herpes. My friend and I ordered a pizza. I got my piece and she got herpes. Mexican word of the day. Juicy. Tell me if you see the cops.
Tell me if you see the cops.
Juicy.
I used to
Chicken.
love those.
My wife wanted me to go to the store, but chicken go herself. And last, what was the other one? There was one more, I think.
No, that was everything.
Oh, that was it. Dang it, that's
Amazing.
funny.
They ran out of good ones, so I got the best one.
I don't
That
know,
was a
man.
good one.
That's a wild
No,
story, though. That's a fun night shift story to tell. You know what I mean? Like, and that's like a good squad car conversation. Like, is it okay to be a vigilante? And what is okay? Like, what are the limits? Who makes the rules? Have you ever seen Boondock Saints, David?
Yeah.
No, I actually haven't seen it. I know you guys are gonna.
Whoa,
hate
whoa,
me
whoa,
for
whoa,
it, 'cause
whoa,
I
whoa.
heard it's
What?
fucking good.
Wait,
it's
what?
my favorite
That's
movie. Of
coming
all
from a
time.
guy who loved the Batman. Stop it. Just knock it off.
You know
No, I
what?
haven't
So-
Hold on.
if Tansy wants me to see
He
it, I
hasn't
will
seen
see
it.
it.
It's 3 hours. It's too long for Tansy.
I don't. Boondock Saints is not 3 hours.
No. I'm talking about the Batman.
I started Batman after listening to you guys' episode on Monday because I did an episode on Thursday, last call of the day. I did a whole episode on when it was about to release. And I said, the
That you
one
were gonna
problem
stream
I
it.
foresee with this movie is that it's fucking 3 hours long. And I'm not taking my 7-year-old and my 9-year-old to go see a 3-hour movie. Do you know how many piss breaks that is for like me,
Oh yeah.
them? It's not going to be, it's not like girls on their periods where I'll just
It's
sink it
No,
up.
staggered,
stream
too.
it.
It's like
Stream it. You
9-year-olds
pay
got to go
$10,
pee.
You can stream it at home.
You know, next thing you know, you leave, and I'm the adult, so I got to take all of them with me every time. Now drinks are getting roofied. Fucking,
It is dumb, Sarah.
it's so I'm
Don't
not going to
see
do
it.
it. I
First of all,
started watching it.
Dave
It
has to
definitely
see
does have
Boondock
the
Saints.
crow, but the Boondock Saints is actually a really great movie. My wife really likes that movie. I think anything that William Dafoe is in is gold. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
that
I
you
can
could.
see that,
I don't
yeah.
know if there's a bad movie with William
There
Dafoe
was
in it.
a firefight.
One of the greatest lines of any
You
movie.
have to see this movie, dude, tonight.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that I
Tonight. I
watch
have
Or
every
you
year.
have
security
your
to do in the
security
morning.
guard sack lunch for your
Yeah.
shift tomorrow.
I have my oscillating light and everything. I got to put it up on the little red Escort.
You can use the bad cable that you bought to charge it. Probably.
You know what?
have you
Yellow
ever-
light.
I think enough from you, UPP.
Did you know? I like Boondock Saints, but I watch it like every single year. I go get a sixer of
It's a
Guinness.
St. Patrick's Day
It is.
tradition.
Well,
yeah.
You know, 5th of Jamie, sit down.
All right.
And my wife likes it. My wife loves it too.
A
So it's
Boondock
like one of the
Saints.
few
I'm-
movies
I'm
that-
shocked you haven't seen that, Dave.
Yeah, it's one of those. You know how like every once in a while there is a really good movie that escapes you, and like 10 years later, people are like, "Did you see that movie?" And you're like, "No," and you're like, "Well," like, and you clearly missed something big. You know, I feel like that is one of them. Like everybody's seen it, but me, and that does not happen very often.
Yeah, and Boondock Saints 2 does suck, but I still saw it in theaters because I had to.
What do you mean it still
was
sucks? For
fun.
what?
I mean, somebody just wrote there that Boondock Saints 2 sucks. I said it does suck.
Oh,
but
Boondock Saints 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, don't watch that one. Just the original. It's one
Yeah.
and done.
it is one and done. They are bringing it back though. I heard for a third. So
There's very few sequels I like, and Rocky every single Rocky movie is fine except 5. I pretend that one doesn't exist.
Well, what
I
about
still
John
watch it.
Wick? Did you see John Wick?
Yeah, I love them all.
They were all entertaining enough. I didn't.
Yeah. It's entertaining. It's
I don't think
it's
I can
mindless.
watch John Wick. I haven't watched John Wick more than once. I've watched Sicario twice.
Yeah,
Sicario's
I
really
think
good.
both of those are really good.
They are both really good.
Yeah.
Man on Fire is a great movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie too.
I haven't seen that
Equalizer
one
is
either.
good.
Wait, you haven't seen Man on Fire?
No, my wife ended up seeing
what?
it, and I was like, "What the hell?"
My
Gotta
wife
watch
and I
Man
just
on
watched it
Fire.
again. We just
I
watched it a
know.
couple
I've
days
heard a
ago.
lot about it. I don't
And
know.
you got to call off work tomorrow. You got movies to watch.
Okay.
Well, well, what about you? What do you think? Do you think serial killer, vigilante? Do you think there's ever room for a vigilante? What is your opinion on that, David?
No.
No, okay. I thought
No,
you were
for sure.
retired. Can you not?
No,
just
I
say
am
whatever you want?
retired. I am retired. I think it's God, there's such a fine line, isn't there? Like there is such a fine line because I want to believe in the justice system so bad, but I hate how I've seen it go so sideways, where I've done everything right. I mean, everything right. And you know what I'm talking about, like from the beginning of the dispatch or a traffic stop or whatever, all the way to the processing of evidence. And you just get shit on in court. The thing gets dismissed or what's even more downtrodden for you is when a jury finds somebody not guilty of something that they were on the stand completely lying about. And you're like, what the fuck am I even here for?
You're not allowed to lie. But they can lie all they want.
Well, and that's the dumb thing is like, you think like, hey, if I'm just telling the truth, if I'm telling exactly how it happened, how do we go wrong in there? But in the end, you tell the truth, and it is again. I think that's what kind of makes you like kind of take a dump on the justice system every once in a while is when you do everything right, and it still goes that far south for you, and you're like, well, fuck it then. Why am I even here? So sometimes I think I'm not going to say it's a good thing. But I'm not going to say it's a bad thing either.
Now, let me ask you this. What would, since I'm just getting to know you, David, and this is what Mike did to me the first time I was on Failure to Stop, what would cause you to go vigilante? Like, what would be the tipping point? Or are you just like, I would never do it? But is there a crime that can be committed against you that says, fuck it, I'm ending bloodlines?
Against me, probably. I can't see that really happening. It's really interesting that you would say that because I had a case where there's a 911 call comes out with this lady where this guy is saying like these guys broke into the house, they killed my wife, they're in there right now. We get there within however many. I mean, like because our dispatchers were in our department at the time, they could dispatch as they're on the phone. Right. We get there, he's right there. He's got blood on him. He's like she's upstairs. They're up there. My 2-year-old's up there. It was a 2-month-old or whatever. We go up there, kick the door in. Nobody's in there. And this lady was indeed dead. It was a Pakistani couple, and her head had been severed all the way to the spine, and it was just being held on by the cartilage or whatever of the spine. And so the blood, like it was an apartment, so you can understand like the carpet, there's carpet in the living room, but once it hits the linoleum floor, and that's where she was killed, and the linoleum floor was just this cake of red, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in the end, it was him. He did it.
Right.
So
sure.
he got pissed because she was being very like Americanized, and she had wanted a divorce or whatever. And he just lost his shit. He had no record, nothing, like completely freaking clean. And that's when I knew at that moment that we all have that ability to snap. Like, I don't know if I'll ever reach that. I doubt I ever will. But I saw it in a human being where we were with him I was probably with him for 8 hours. The entire time he was pleasant. He was kind. He was funny. But on the other side of that, like his wife's handprint was on the back of his leg, because he was wearing shorts. Like it was just like very disturbing. And he ended up killing himself. He cut his dick off in prison and bled out. So
Jesus.
I know it's so weird because you can't make this stuff up, right? But that was like the first experience. Like I was like, dude, we must all have it in us. If this guy snapped, we must all have it in us. Not saying
why
that
did
we'll
he cut his dick off?
I think it was a cultural thing. Like he just was like, I don't know. Like
what the fuck? I've never heard of a cultural thing where it says I have been shamed. I will cut off my penis. The shame.
I know. I don't know.
Come on.
I know you would think like, hey, I'll just hit a jugular or something. Like,
Yeah, dude, just fucking take that one right to the throat, or do like the old Japanese thing where you throw it in your
nuts.
guts. And I'm not
Yeah,
cutting
around
it.
a
to
Harry
pieces.
Carey.
Snore in the same cell as Pedro Filho.
Yeah.
Now,
We
what
had
about
a,
you, Mike? Mike, is there a limit for you that you go full vigilante? Is there,
Every chance he gets.
or are you more of like vengeance is mine, saith the Lord type thing?
Well, I let God do his thing and I'll do mine. You know what I'm saying?
Like that, put it out.
Just
I'll
because
prepare the meeting. Oh,
God can
yes,
have his
states'
vengeance
rights.
and I can have mine. I don't know. We had a super chat I have to acknowledge. Go back up there, Elijah, because someone was kind enough to ¿Por qué no los dos? This is a Spanish one. In response to your question, serial killer and vigilante. It's just why not both? I think that's what that was in response to.
Yeah.
For me,
Is there a limit where you just go full Boondock Saints? Is there something that happens that you think that would trigger you to go full vigilante?
You know, I don't know what holds me back because
you're like, well, they could kill my kids, but it depends which ones. If it's Elijah, just cut that one off as a loss. One of my other kids, maybe I'm going full vigilante.
His other kids are actually better than him anyway.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't really roll with him anyway. So fuck him.
There's no doubt. I've had the conversation with my family. If you were to hurt one of my kids, if you hurt my spouse, you hurt my kids, I will kill the person. I will kill them. If anyone sexually abused or harassed my kids in a physical way, if there was like a rape involved, certainly a murder, there's like next to no doubt in my mind that I wouldn't necessarily confess to it, but I'm on record right on this and multiple shows. I would kill the person responsible. And then I would just deal with the consequences. I would rather spend the rest of my life in prison and have done that.
Yeah, see, I can't agree with that.
I'm not saying it's right.
If they killed my whole family and I had nothing to live for, but like I'm like the sole breadwinner, right? Like I have
security guard. You're the sole breadwinner. That family sucks.
Yeah, I make this.
God bless. You want to borrow my gun so you can end it? Like
I make $13.50 an hour, bro.
No, he needs to borrow your knife to cut his penis off hidden shame.
Let's get David's
set up for a studio apartment.
Some weird.
Let's get
shit
Dave's
about
address so we can
emasculation.
all send him some bread and some canned goods.
But seriously, like think about this. Like if I were to kill someone, like I'd be in prison. I couldn't do anything for my family ever again. And I couldn't even help that individual through what's going on. I think that's kind of why like there's like this press for, I mean,
yeah, see,
I'm a pretty religious guy. So
like I have 3 sons. So I think I would just like go to my oldest if he was not the one that was whacked. And I would just say like, hey dude, handing the reins over to you. Dad's got work to do.
Yeah. I mean,
thanks, Dad.
I'll see you in Costa Rica.
Now, can I be talked down from that? I don't know because I've never been pushed to that limit.
I could. I was
CT. But I feel like
I could
talk you down. I'm a CIT trained officer.
Yeah, that was
you don't have the guts
that was
to
in
do it.
that was
Look,
that
he's
was
flying.
That was in the PowerPoint, wasn't it? Man who's gone crazy because his family's dead. Yeah, I was in like PowerPoint number 54.
But I do feel like a close friend of mine. Like either you guys call me up and be like, I mean, Eric, you call me up on a secured line, not a monitored one, and say like, hey man, this dude did something to Augie. And I'm like,
right.
All right, I'll get the next flight out. It's 3:30. I'll be there at 5:30. You just point me in the right. You just point me. What do we need to do? Do you need me to dig? Do you need me to
like?
What do you need me to do? You know what I'm saying? I don't. It's like.
But the guy that did it. But the guy that did it's a black belt. That guy's. But the thing is, Mike,
black belt can't stop.
The guy is a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So do you have any friends?
Dave's made me suffer, and he's a black belt.
Hey Elijah, that's something somebody who's not a black belt would say.
It's someone who has a gun. That's something they would say.
Like I said.
No, I'd rather go Pedro Filho. I'd go full knife.
Yeah.
If somebody came, if I found out, if I logged into the program and I found out that Sarah Kelch had been diddled, because we all know she's at least 12, I think I'd go full vigilante for Sarah Kelch. I got you.
Well, yeah, for
you know
Sarah,
what?
Yes, but
Only because she actually bought a ghost bed.
You
Now,
know
if you're one of our fans that falls into the victim of a crime, we can only come to your aid as vigilantes if you have purchased a ghost bed.
you know what I'm doing? I'm going to get smart with it. I'm going to do a battle of the minds, and I'm going to call Scott Rogers and let him do it for me. I'll be like, Scott,
Dude,
I
Call
got
in
a
the
free
Wolfpack.
credit card.
He's changed his content to Power Ranger content.
It's
nice.
great. I'm all
I know,
in on
but
it, too.
there's
I watch
we
it
have that
every night.
other video,
Yeah, that's
but
true.
we'll do that on Friday for the Wolfpack.
I watch it every night. If Lázaro Lopez was to go down, I would not do anything about that. I'd just let that one lie. Not that.
If in all seriousness, guys,
If Jake Farm went down,
who
probably wouldn't care.
Jake from State Farm?
Yep, Jake Farm. Let's see who else is in the check. TC Clausen, I got you, bud. I would go to bat for you. And I'm just randomly picking here.
The Black Site Show
HHH,
is on the chat.
Fuck no, you're on your
Tansey
own.
the man.
HHH.
Hamidy's in the chat.
Oh,
Watch the
Hamity
Black
is?
Site Show. Yeah.
Oh, I would definitely let Hamity. Yeah, shit, dude. Hamity would just hire someone.
Hamity would go to work for us if all three of us got killed.
Yeah, but he would have one of his Russian assets do it for us. I'm just
There'd
kidding,
be
Hamity. I know.
Misinformation.
I'm
don't kill Eric.
Don't kill me. Yeah, if I die tonight, it's because Hamity got to me first.
All right, guys. In all seriousness, though, we've dropped the ghost bed thing a couple of times in the show, but seriously, I sleep like a baby every night of mine. If you want to check out Ghost Bed, you can use code Drinkin' Bros, DRINKINBROS. It's going to save you 30%. Drinkin' Bros.
Ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros.
Make sure you go check it out. Someone in the Discord did just get one delivered this week. So we were all talking about the ghost beds in there.
Yeah, Gio Micah got one. The guy that we did the video for that was asking the police question, he bought one.
Dude, Hamity said I would blow myself up for you guys. You can't. You're trading us for 72 virgins. That's not fair.
He's Iraqi, so he can say shit like that. If I say it, I'm a racist.
Gosh, all these rules.
We already know you don't like Hispanics. Good Lord.
One more meat stick, Mike. No, I don't got any more in me. I'm full. I don't even have the rest of my Heine Zero down here. So
because it's disgusting.
Yeah, it is what it is until 2023. Because it's all I got.
Somebody pours me a Heine Zero, I go vigilante. That's where I draw the line.
I've got a Blanton's waiting for me on New Year's Eve. So maybe you guys can all come up here and share it with me.
Mike's like, what? Somebody did something to Augie? I'm getting my flight. I'm like, no. I need somebody who drinks like real Heinekens. I'm sorry.
At least full strength Heineken. Dead Leg Media. Last thing before we go, did you just rip your roommate's heart out and eat it? You're going to need some place comfy to sleep at night, and that should be in a ghost bed.
Oh,
I love the audience advertising.
Who left the audience ad read for Rip Pack? That was really funny.
I don't know. We'll make sure to read that on Friday for sure.
Yep.
And that okay, seriously, I heard this put this way, and this is the last thing.
I noticed your name, Amber HHH. I said, "There's no way I'm going to bat for you." I said that.
Ouch! Ouch! How the turntables.
If Amber HHH was
now
murdered,
I'm Amber's friend.
It would just happen. It would just be that we'd have no more Amber HHH, and we'd all go, "Where's Amber HHH? She hasn't been in the chat in a hot minute."
Yeah.
Oh, she was murdered brutally.
She's forsaken us.
At least we don't have to give her a T-shirt.
Second one. So listen, I heard this today. Someone was
Panzer,
like,
we'd come for you, buddy.
Amber's like, what the hell?
Tansey's got this like notebook now of a running score of who we're gonna kill for and who we're not.
Jacob Nickel, he's got a star. Amber HHH has an X. Panzer has a star. Last row has an X.
I just imagine.
Craig, you get a star. M, you get a star.
He has to check his list.
Check the
like,
list.
are you on the list? Are you got
T. Clausen.
Somebody drops in the Discord.
X.
Hey, did you guys hear Panzer got killed? Well, let's check. Okay, why? We care now. He's got a star next to his name.
This
Oh my
show's
gosh.
canceled.
Listen, if you had a chance to help someone that you had never met in real life and it didn't cost you anything, would you do it? That's the question. The answer is, if you are the kind of person who would like to help us, when you leave the stream, go right to Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the show so that it automatically downloads, and leave a rating and a review. That is going to help us a huge, huge amount. If you listen on Spotify, make sure you follow there. Make sure you leave a rating there. Please go do that if you would like to help the show grow as fast as it possibly can. That's how you can do that. So Tansey is now Santa, except he kills people if you're not on the good list.
No, I only do it if the people don't leave a review. Like I go and look at the reviews. I'm like, oh, Panzer didn't leave a review. Fuck him.
Little chat.
Let the
He
dead
dies.
bury their dead.
He dies.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with us on Night Shift.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Serious.
Heck yeah,
Brother.
brother.
Man now.
Hell yeah, bro.
It's not true. I don't really.
No, that's security job.
No, I
Sure
gotta put my little gray shirt on and head on out. A little oscillating light. Roll the window down.
Wait, what is the movie where the security guard goes vigilante?
Mall.
Equalizer.
I'd say Paul Blart.
That is a
That's
good
not the case.
movie.
I love
Equalizer.
Equalizer.
Yeah, Equalizer. Who's the security
Wait, we
guard?
got one more super chat. Thank you, Craig. Skate Daddy Transy is the Oprah of Tetherball Academy Media. You get a star. You get a star.
Everybody gets a star. Just kidding, you don't.
and Dave is the Dr. Phil.
Oh, thanks.
And Mike
Wait a
is the
minute.
Alan DeGeneres.
I'm an Alan DeGeneres. I'm gonna go cut my own penis off in shame now. I'm gonna be emasculated. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the Failure to Stop podcast. See you Thursday, where Tansey and the overpaid producer will give you all the pop culture news you need to sound like a normal human being on the weekend. And then Friday, live right here, 11 a.m.